What can you really do with 5 minutes? In this case, more than most expected. Before we dive into the full story, comment where you're watching from. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Ted Lieu walked into that hearing with a plan. No wasted time, no distractions, just a tight line of questions, each one building on the last. He started with a safe and ended with a name. And that's what made this moment so precise.
Thank you, Director Patel, for being here today. The FBI searched Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan residence, correct?
I believe that happened in 2018. I think there was 2 locations, sir.
It's 2019, and in that residence, the FBI found a safe, correct?
I don't have the catalog of evidence in front of me.
In that residence, the FBI found a safe, correct?
I'll accept your representation.
Okay. And in that safe, the FBI found topless and lewd photographs of girls, correct?
Again, sir, I'll accept your representation. I don't know.
Thank you. It was all over the media at the time. There's a New York Times article that says Jeffrey Epstein is indicted on sex charges as discovery of nude photos is disclosed, dated July 8th, 2019. And the Times reports a trove of lewd photographs of girls was discovered in a safe inside financier Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan mansion. Author Michael Wolff has conducted numerous interviews of Jeffrey Epstein. I'm going to play for you a video clip of what Michael Wolff said Epstein told him was in the safe and what he showed the author was in this safe. So let's please play that clip now.
Elected. And I was sitting talking to Epstein, and he said, "Wait a minute, I got to show you something." And then he went into his safe, and he came out with photographs. They were Polaroids, I think, and he kind of spread them out like playing cards, and it was Trump. I mean, I think there were a dozen of them, and it was Trump with girls of an uncertain age at Epstein's Palm Beach house, where all of the things that he would ultimately be accused of took place. And I remember very vividly 3 of them. There are 2 in which Trump is, the girls, topless girls, are sitting on Trump's lap. And then a 3rd in which he has a stain on the front of his pants. And the girls are kind of pointing at it, sort of bent over, laughing.
So, Director Patel, I'm going to ask you a very broad and general question. As you know, Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were friends. There are, of course, photos showing Donald Trump together with Epstein, correct?
I don't have the entirety of the photographs, but I think they've been photographed in public together.
All right. Are there any photos showing Donald Trump with girls of an uncertain age?
No.
How do you know that?
Because that information would have been brought to light by multiple administrations and FBI investigators over the course of the last 20 years.
Well, you know what? That's just not true, because no one knew about the creepy birthday message that Donald Trump wrote to Jeffrey Epstein until the Wall Street Journal disclosed it, and then all of a sudden, the Epstein estate provides it to Congress.
Well,
so certainly, you weren't there at the search. You don't know what Epstein may or may not have done with those photographs even prior to the search. Maybe someone has it. Maybe the Epstein estate has it.
You raise a great point.
So I'm going to ask you, have you asked to talk to Michael Wolff?
You raise a great point. I haven't personally asked to talk to Michael Wolff.
Has the FBI asked?
But the FBI, I'll get back to you if the FBI specifically
so Michael Wolff has
ever.
About 100 hours of testimony of Jeffrey Epstein. Wouldn't it be good for the FBI to interview Michael Wolff?
I'm not saying they haven't. I just don't know.
Has FBI subpoenaed the tapes that Michael Wolff has conducted of Jeffrey Epstein?
I don't know.
All right. So if you could provide us an answer, that would be terrific.
Sure.
Well, let me ask you this question then. Have you looked at all the photos in Epstein files?
I have looked at all the information that the investigators who investigated this case have provided to run out credible leads.
And in the Epstein file, was there that creepy birthday message that Donald Trump had written to Epstein?
No, that's what I was trying to tell you. You raise a great point. The estate of Jeffrey Epstein has a voluminous amount of information that they have not released before.
Okay, so that's great. So Would it be great if FBI subpoenaed the estate of Jeffrey Epstein for all that information?
The estate is under no obligation to provide that material, even pursuant to a subpoena. That's a great point.
Yeah, that's just false.
Okay.
That's just false. You're the frickin' FBI. You can subpoena the information from the estate, and you better do that.
That's literally not how it works.
I'm going to move.
Now hold on, because what just happened in that exchange deserves a closer look. Patel tried to shut it down with confidence, saying those photos couldn't exist, because if they did, they would have surfaced over the last 20 years. Sounds solid, until Lieu dismantles it in seconds. He brings up the birthday message, something no one knew about, something the FBI never found, something that didn't come from any investigation. It came from the Epstein estate, completely outside the system Patel was relying on. And just like that, the logic falls apart. Because if that document slipped through unnoticed for years, what else did? Then it gets more uncomfortable. Lieu asks about Michael Wolff, the one person who actually claimed to see what was inside that safe. Patel doesn't confirm anything. He doesn't deny it either. He just says he's not aware. Not aware. You're the FBI director. It doesn't stop there. The tapes, over 100 hours of Epstein interviews, subpoenaed? Patel doesn't know. The estate's files? He claims they don't have to comply. Lieu pushes back, flat out says that's not true. And in the middle of all this, something becomes very clear. Key witnesses may not have been contacted. Critical material may not have been obtained. And even the director himself isn't certain what has or hasn't been done. That's not a small gap. That's a pattern. And Lieu just put it on the record. Now watch where he goes next.
Now and talk about Epstein's client list. You confirmed that exists. Attorney General Pam Bondi confirmed earlier this year that exists. I just want to ask you a simple question. Is Prince Andrew on Epstein's client list?
The material related to Prince Andrew has been made public.
Is Prince Andrew on the client list?
We have released the index of names that were in Jeffrey Epstein.
Is Donald Trump on Epstein's client list?
The index has been released, and the index will speak for
itself. So I'm just going to say, America is a huge red flag. The FBI director could not answer whether Donald Trump was on Epstein's client list.
2 questions, 2 names, and somehow, still no answers. Lieu kept it simple. He didn't ask for speculation, didn't ask for conclusions, just yes or no. Is Prince Andrew on the list? Is Donald Trump on the list? And both times Patel gave the same response. The index has been released. Not yes, not no, just a deflection. Lieu wasn't asking for guilt. He wasn't asking for classified details. He was asking about names on a list. And the FBI director chose to point to a document instead of answering directly. That's why Lieu called it what it was, a red flag. Because when a direct question gets a scripted response, people start paying attention. And here's where it gets even more telling. Months later, key pieces were still missing. No confirmed subpoenas for the tapes. No full access to the estate's materials. Key figures still not interviewed. And that original question, still sitting there, unanswered. The index has been released. That was the answer. Make of that what you will.